Capital. We're going to take up Bill Clinton's diplomatic North Korean trip with Margaret Carlson and Kate O'Byrne in just a moment, but we start the conversation with Bloomberg's Janine Zakaria, who's been traveling with Secretary of State Hillary Clinton this week in Africa. She's in our Johannesburg newsroom. Janine, big emphasis the Secretary of State on economics and commerce. Is that because they think China's beaten us in Africa?
Well, they don't say that's the reason. When you talk to people and you put the China investment question to them, they say that's a Cold War paradigm. That's not the way we see it. Yes, we have concerns about the way China invests in Africa, their lack of concern for human rights abuses in certain countries where they export oil from. But in fact, they're saying that Secretary Clinton is here to visit the major oil producers because of U.S. interests alone.
Kenya may be the ancestral home of our Hawaiian-born president, Janine, but the Secretary of State talked pretty tough when she was there, didn't she?
Yeah, it was pretty incredible. I've been traveling with the Secretary of State for a while, and she gave some really tough talk that I hadn't seen before about the post-election violence, if you recall, Al, after early last year. Over 1,000 people were killed, and she said, you guys have to have a tribunal. This is the way we want to see it. President Obama is from Kenya, and he wants to see it too. He came on big screens around her at this major trade summit to deliver the message himself. So really, it was a very tough message. At the same time, trying to say to Kenya, look, you are a special ally. We need you in Somalia. We need you to be a leader in security in the Horn of Africa.
Somalia has been a haven for terrorists. She met with the head of the transitional government there. Anything substantive?
Well, it looks like the United States is going to perhaps double the amount of assistance that they're giving to this transitional government. It's a very weak government, although from people I've talked to around Secretary Clinton, and she herself makes the point that she thinks that with this new Sheikh Ahmed Sheikh Sharif, the transitional president, maybe they have a chance to defeat what's known as the Al-Shabaab, the militant Islamist group there that's really threatening security in a major way, major instability, and of course a major security concern for the United States.
Janine, while the Secretary was in Nairobi, 6,200 miles away, her spouse was getting two American journalists out of North Korea. How did the Hillary entourage view this? Resentment or pride?
No, it was clearly, I spoke to one of her aides as that was happening. We literally landed, and all the news was Bill Clinton. It was very striking, given the fact that they tried so hard for the first 6 months of the administration to keep him quiet and out of the picture, and there she was on this major trip, and he was stealing all the headlines. But they said that she, of course, supported it. She had been very worried about the two journalists the whole time that they were in captivity, especially after they were sentenced to 12 years hard labor. So fully supportive, and then, of course, spoke to her husband, President Clinton, on the way home. And there was a great deal of satisfaction in the trip. Not too much concern about him eclipsing her headline-wise here in Africa.
Okay, Janine, have a safe final week with the Secretary over in Africa. Kate, let me turn to you. Are you celebrating Bubba's diplomatic triumph?
Well, I think, Al, in this case, the famous charmer-in-chief was more escort than he was negotiator. And although you do worry about creating an unwelcome precedent and making it more attractive to snatch Americans by some thuggish regime like North Korea's, once word reached the White House that these two young women would be released if Bill Clinton showed up on the scene, you can't imagine them not responding. Right. And who didn't welcome the images of them coming home from that hellish ordeal?
A O'Byrne-Carlson agreement, Margaret?
Yes, Kate. Finally, we have two for the price of one paying off in that Bill Clinton went. He's playing a second banana role with grace. All of the predictions that the two Clintons would be a two-headed administration, leaking and making trouble, not true so far. And this is an achievement for Clinton. What I liked about the atmospherics of it was the first photo I've ever seen of Bill Clinton not grinning from ear to ear or biting his lip as he sat there with Kim Il-jung. Who himself was smiling while Clinton is being grim and not giving any more that he had to give to bring those two journalists home.